Hi, my name is Ingmar Winderickx. I'm from Belgium. I've been a football coach in Hangzhou for 4 years now. I love living in this vibrant city with beautiful scenery. Let me introduce you to the Origin of Liangzhu. The 43rd World Heritage Convention was held in Baku, the capital of Azerbaijan, on July 6, 2019. The archaeological ruins of Liangzhu city of Hangzhou was enrolled into the World Heritage list at this conference. This marked the solid evidence for China's 5,000-year history of civilization was recognized by UNESCO and mainstream international academic circles. The archaeological ruins became therefore the third World Cultural Heritage in Zhejiang Province after the West Lake and the Grand Canal. Liangzhu ruins are located in Liangzhu town of Zhejiang District, 18 km north of Hangzhou. Archaeologists have been sweating over the ruins for 86 years. In May 1935, Shi Xinggeng was just a 25-year-old man working in the West Lake Museum. When he was sorting out unearthed relics from Gudang ruins, he noticed some pieces quite resembled the stone artifacts and pottery shards found in his hometown Liangzhu. He had a feeling that there might be some ancient ruins. The wild guess was accepted, and then he started to take charge of the field excavations in Liangzhu. He found a large number of stone artifacts, pottery shards, and items which confirmed that there were ancient ruins in Liangzhu area. By the end of 1959, archaeologist Xia Nai named this Neolithic culture Liangzhu civilization. Wang Ningyuan, a researcher at Zhejiang Archaeology Institute, has explained the site selection of ancient Liangzhu city at the Shanghai Archaeology Forum. Around 5,500 years ago, people realized the mountain valleys they'd been living for a long time were not suitable for hunting anymore due to climate changes. They decided to migrate to the swamp plains and grow grains instead. By searching around, they chose Liangzhu as their final home. Liangzhu was rich in resources, with a collection of jade mines, stones, swamps, and lakes. People could hunt and grow grains, and water transport was convenient here. Calculating from the excavations already made, we estimated that the total volume of earthwork and stonework was over 10 million cubic meters for the infrastructures of the ancient Liangzhu city. This implied that Liangzhu had already been in a sophisticated state of a country, as such large constructions quantity could not be achieved merely by any family group in the primitive society. Director of Zhejiang Archaeology Institute Liu Bin explained that the construction order of an ancient city could be verified by chronology. If we want to know the age of a cultural relic, for example, we want to know if a jar had held seeds or grains or something else before, we could use technical measurements to calculate the time of death of the plants, therefore learning what era it was from. Around 5,100 years ago, people in Liangzhu regulated watercourses first to avoid future problems before starting to build the city and palaces. They built inner city walls followed by constructions of outer city walls, which was 500 or 600 years later after the establishment of the city. Hangzhou is a similar case. The city keeps expanding with an increasing population coming to settle. The scope of the CBD keeps growing as well over time. The most integral part of the ancient Liangzhu city was its Imperial District, while Mojao Mountain was at the center of the Imperial District at the palace area. It was called Mountain but was actually a rectangular earth platform. It consisted of 4 parts including 3 palace areas and 1 square. It was speculated that as the palace on Greater Mojao Mountain was at its highest point compared to other palaces, the sand square it was facing was the venue to hold the most important ceremonies. Other than the palace areas and the cemeteries, the handicraft area was the most crucial part in this imperial district. Just look at how people were boring holes in a jade piece. The craftsmanship was so fine that a hole could be as small as a lotus plumule. With the clues from household weights such as peach cores and apricots, we could presume that the craftsmen worked and lived in the Imperial District. But interestingly, no grain field was found here. In exploration around the outskirts of the ancient city ruins, archaeologists found that there were definitions of cities and towns in China as early as Liangzhu era. It was usually craftsmen who lived inside the ancient city, while farmers mostly lived in the open plains outside, farming and providing grains and food for the city. Archaeologists also discovered over years a large-scale hydraulic system dating from Liangzhu era in the northwest of the ancient city. The system was composed of 11 dams, which was the earliest water control system of large scale in China to date. Numerous people migrated to Liangzhu with eyes on its advantages such as abundant grain growth and convenient transport. However, the wise local Liangzhu citizens knew the disadvantage. The mountains in the west were frequented by the rainstorms in today's Zhejiang Province. Flash floods often happen in rainy seasons and could be disastrous to grain fields and villages. Liangzhu people back then were able to plan and reform the water environment at all waterways around the area. They invented the technique of grass and mud, using the silt first to shape the dam before coating with loess. The loess used was not any loose soil but soil shaped into long circles after mixing with reed and thatch, which were then made into the dam's body. Thanks to the advanced hydraulic system, Liangzhu civilization developed rapidly into the Ploin era and was able to grow quickly in agriculture, hence accelerating its steps forward in many other industries like handicraft. It started with an ancient tomb, some beautiful jades, then a few palaces and a sophisticated dam system. With the efforts of generations of archaeologists, the ancient ruins of Liangzhu city was brought into the front of people's eyes. It's like a rebirth of a piece of ancient history and also a heritage of civilization. International academic circle used to think that China's history of civilization was less than 4,000 years. But the discovery of the material fruits and the spirit of the Liangzhu civilization provide strong evidence to date the Chinese civilization back to over 5,000 years ago. With thousands of pieces of magnificent jades that represent power and beliefs, the essence of Chinese culture was shown to the world, which make China one of the most ancient countries in the world. The ancient ruins of Liangzhu city was an outstanding example of early civilization in humankind. It is worthy of being a sacred land and a solid proof of the country's immortal civilization. Hangzhou 欢迎你